So the truth is, I've been able to reclaim 500 plus hours by delegating my grocery shopping to someone else who goes and does it for me for $5 an hour. And I'm going to show you in this video how you can do the same and why it's a no-brainer to do it. I've been using this service called Instacart, which is here in North America, and it's phenomenal. All right, straight up, it is an incredible service, and it's one of those ones that it's like I can't live without. Like, they've just really nailed it. I don't even know how they do it because it's so cheap, but here's my stats over the last 12 months, and I've been using them for about 5 years now. And the metric we all really care about is hours back, because that's the most important. And so if you're to go and highlight this or hover over this in the actual app, it says for every order you place, you're saving yourself about like an hour to an hour and a half on average, which I believe is true, between driving there, driving back, going to the grocery store, contemplating what to get, etc. It's about an hour to an hour and a half. Sometimes for some of you guys, it's going to be even 2 hours, which is fucking insane. And so year over year, I've saved myself about 100 hours, used it for the last 5 years, and I'm going to walk you through how to do the same and ultimately why you need to do it. Because the problem is here, gents, that you're wasting too much time on a task that really requires zero strategic thinking, yet we're just doing it for the basic needs. And again, I talk a lot about this when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to what to eat every day. You need to make that decision every single day. However, you can pre-commit to one decision that then allows you to not have to make more decisions in the future. And so that's the same here with grocery shopping, where we can give this to someone else for them to go and make all those decisions of where to find this, where to find that, how much to get, yada, yada, yada. We just need to make these decisions a handful of times, and that's it. And so what you're doing right now is you're likely either just not cooking at home, so you're eating out, you're spending even more money, and really tinting your physique because you're eating shitty food. And even if you use one of those like meal prep services and they come, like, you're deciding you tweak what ones to get, and like, do you like it? And then if you don't like that one, like, what are you going to do? Like, there's just so much nuance with just eating out all the time that it's actually costing you more money and time and fucking with your physique than if you're to just figure this shit out like I'm teaching you and dial in your nutritional protocol from getting the groceries to actually what you eat, etc., etc. So that's option one. Option two is you do cook, but you're actually spending 2 to 4 hours a week getting groceries like a pleb, okay? I really don't think you need to be doing this in today's day and age if you make more than $5 an hour, which I hope all of you watching this video are making at least $5 an hour. And my meta principle is, well, first of all, if you don't know who I am, I help 22 to 34-year-old ambitious yet lost or lonely men self-actualize, become the best version of themselves. And one of those principles that I continuously talk on the path to becoming the best version of yourself is early on investing everything you have back into yourself and not trying to invest in the next cryptocurrency or the next meme coin or getting into the S&P 500 or even buying your first real estate, as crazy as this sounds. Like, all of your money should be spent on getting you into an environment, into a physical shape with a clear mind that allows you to then step into a successful business, into a financial version of you that can flourish. But it starts with you as the individual. And so back to here, if you're making more than $5 an hour, I'm going to break this down. If you're making more than $5 an hour, it makes sense to reinvest. Like, let's just break it down. If you're just make $5 an hour, I would rather you spend that $5 that you just made to pay someone to go and get your groceries instead of wasting those hours on going and getting the groceries yourself, because you need food, right? And being able to take that hour back and invest. Basically, you're investing in yourself to allow yourself to take that hour and do something more productive. Okay? We'll talk about that. So you're doing either one of these things. You're either not cooking at home, meaning you're spending more money, you're spending more time, you're in shittier shape, etc. Or you do cook, but you are spending way too much time going and getting groceries, and you do not need to do that in today's world. So just some math here. If you were to spend 2 hours a week, okay, so likely you go to a grocery store maybe like once a week or twice a week, but you're super quick, you're wasting full entire days, 4 full days on just hanging out in the grocery store, driving back and forth, bringing them up, putting them away, yada, yada, yada. Time wasted in a 50-year span, and again, we probably are going to live for 80 years or so, you're wasting 216 days, full days in your entire lifetime, which is crazy. That's not even the worth of it. If you flip it to the backside and you spend 4 hours a week, okay, you're going to the grocery stores multiple times, you're taking a long time, you're making decisions, etc. 8.6 days every year, and that leads to, in a 50-year span, 432 days, or 1.3 years of your life is just spent fucking around getting groceries, which is just ludicrous. Okay, you shouldn't be spending more than a couple days in your entire lifetime, especially with services like this and an operating system that allows you to do that. So that's the problem. We're just spending way too much time either eating shitty food, ordering food out, blah, 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 or we are cooking, great, but we're spending too much time getting the groceries. Now, the principles behind this and why I think this is so important is, one, your time has a price tag. Again, if you're trying to step into that best version of you, you should have some sort of hourly rate that you're aiming for and that you already are convinced that you're going to step into. So I listened to Naval at one point, and not at one point, but I always listen to Naval. But he talked about when he was younger, when he wasn't making any money, he just set $500 an hour as his hourly rate. And he would make his decisions on where he was going to spend his time based off of that hourly rate. And I love that. It doesn't have to be 500 hours for you, but your time does have a price tag if you're trying to step into that best version of you and you're trying to invest in yourself, build a business, be an entrepreneur, etc., etc. Your time has a price tag. So if you are going to do something that you can pay someone else $5 an hour for, why the fuck would you be going to the grocery store? Okay? Now, there's a principle, and I'll jump to it. Principle number 4, which is selective presence, which basically means don't go to the grocery store 95% of the time. And sometimes for some of you, depending on who you are and what you like doing and who your partner is and yada, 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 you might like going to the grocery store and you might like, going there because you enjoy food just like I do. You're into health and, going to grocery stores. Say I'm from Canada. Anytime I go to the States, I love going to grocery stores, Sprouts, the Whole Foods down there. There's some other ones. Like there's lots of cool products in there that me as a health guy, I love going. Maybe for you, you have a girlfriend and you guys like to cook together or bake together, and you'll go to the grocery store together, and like it's part of the date. All good. Selective presence. It's not like you have to fucking never go there, but 95% of the time when you are prioritizing your time to invest in other areas of your life, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's investing in new skills, whether it's building your business, etc., you shouldn't be in the gym because it's worth way more to do these other things than it is to go to the grocery store because you're making more than $5 an hour, I'm assuming. Principle number 2, outsource the mundane, master the meaningful. This goes for more than just this, but you should be looking at your life and like, what are the things that are just mundane but need to be done in my life, aka maintenance tasks. Okay, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have certain things that we need to do, that we need to take care of, right? Cleaning the house, getting groceries, right? Going to bed, keeping the house clean, yada, yada, yada. Like there's all these things. And so in this case, one of the principles that I operate off of is I'm constantly trying to find other things to outsource so I can get closer and closer to the things that really matter to me and spend more time doing those and going really deep and mastering them. And principle number 3 is your environment equals your destiny, right? I'm a true believer, and I become more of a believer over time that your environment will dictate how successful you become. You can break out of an environment, but the environment that you're in the longest will dictate who you are, who you become, etc. And so if you're constantly in an environment where you have to make multiple decisions and split your focus, etc. Okay, go to the grocery store, or you're bringing food into the house as a result of going to the grocery store and like letting your willpower slip, and you buy the chips and then you buy this and you buy that, whatever that is for you, then you bring it back into your environment and now it's in your kitchen, right? That's an easy way to constantly stay on a roller coaster of your energy, of your physique, and wasting time. So those are the principles that I'm operating on when I make this decision to switch to Instacart. So the protocol is super simple. We're using Instacart. Okay. Now you can order on your desktop or the mobile app. Okay. I've also dropped a link to set your profiles up, and I think you get like $10. And if you run a business, you get like an entire year delivery free. So I'd sign up with your business if you do run a business. Once you're in here, it's pretty cool because you can actually go in and like right now we have a cart set up and see what you buy again, etc. But Instacart's amazing. So I'm going to walk you through how to actually use it. So step one, you just want to set it up. The investment is as follows. It's $99 for a membership. It is $3 to $7 per order, typically for delivery. Sometimes it will be free. Sometimes it will be, a couple bucks. It depends on where you're ordering from, what city you're from, etc. And then if you do tip, I personally don't feel super compelled to tip, but I do normally tip about like 5% per time. So that's roughly $200 to $400 per year to reclaim about 100 hours of your life back. And so if you make more than $5 an hour, this is where the $5 an hour is coming from. This is essentially no-brainer ROI if you believe in investing in yourself. And again, I'm a big believer of that. Cool? So that's the investment. You want to set up your Instacart again, grab the link below this video, and then go ahead, click in, create an account, set it up, get your delivery address in there. That's part one. All right, so part two is creating your meal protocol shopping list. So again, if you have followed my last video on nutrition, go check it out, how to stay lean. I talk about putting together an OSOM, putting together a meal plan essentially. And so you should have that meal plan at some point. And if you don't have a meal plan, I would highly suggest doing that because that is the fastest way to stay consistent with your meal plan, with your nutrition, which then evens out your energy, which allows you to stay focused for longer and control your emotions and not lose it at your coworkers or your girlfriend or your housemates or your family because you dialed in your nutrition. It sounds crazy that those are correlated, but they are. Okay, so we want a meal plan, and there's other factors that go into that, but that is the fastest way to dial in. And so it's also the fastest way to make an order and not get lost in a grocery store. So when we go in here, we're going to go to lists, and I don't know if I have a list for that. Yes, I do. OSOM there. So create a new list. Great. We're going to just call it OSOM, and we're going to date it June 6th. Okay. And then you need to pick a store so you can make your OSOMs from every store that you would order from. So we'll go to Costco in this case. And then we're going to add what we would normally get from Costco. So things I love to get from Costco, actually almond butter is one of those. Boom, we're going to get that. We're going to go frozen strawberries, etc. And you get the point. You're going to make and add your entire list on here. Done editing list. Okay, so you put everything on there, and then once you're done that, you can just hop into this list. So when I come into Instacart, you're going to open the list up, add, there we go, right? So that's your list, and you want to do that for all of your meals, and then it's super easy. You just boom, 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 you select it, you add it, and then you go to checkout. Once you have that, you're literally done. This step 3 is really just some of the hacks that you can add in, but it's simple as that. Set up your account, go in, add all your items, where you're going to source everything from based on your city. So whether it's Costco, whether it's Metro, whatever your grocery store is going to be different for everyone. But step 3 is just kind of some of the Instacart hacks, which is one, a custom notes. So the good thing about Instacart that they've really started to dial in here is once you go to make an order, you can actually go ahead and add some notes, which allows you the few parts. You can add a note here, but what you really want to do is say, I want to get this, add to cart, and then you can go shopper's notes. In there, you would say, hey, like I want only ripe avocados, or it's okay to have this type, or blah, 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 whatever that is for you. It allows you just to act as if you were there. And so if you're like, oh, I don't like this or about whatever, you can just say that to the individual as if you were there shopping yourself. Replacement rules is another one. So when I go to add this, If out of stock, replace with shopper's best match. I always recommend, if you don't want just like a random item, because sometimes they will send that to you, you either refund this item or you click the alternative that you want. Now, if it's a packaged good like this, maybe it's not as applicable, but let's see if cheese, if we were to add this to cart, we go if out of stock, there's a bunch of other cheeses there, so maybe you take your second best option, because there is a lot of the times that this stuff is out of stock, in which case, if you don't set it, they will just pick it. Otherwise, you just set to refund. So that's actually a pretty important thing that I would highly recommend putting in. Hack number 3 is that you can be placing multiple store orders at once. So again, this is crazy, but I can send a shopper out to Costco, and then I can send a shopper out to Whole Foods at the same time. Again, you can't do that anywhere else. If you're going and running around, like, you have to drive to those places. You can just dispatch 2 grocery shoppers at the same time. It's incredible. Number 4 is that you can schedule them. So pretty straightforward. Once you go into checkout, you pretty much can just schedule right away. So I don't know how many days in advance, about a week in advance you can schedule. And if you schedule, you get $2 off. Not that that's a huge deal, but you can schedule them, which is absolutely phenomenal. And then just some common objections to round things up here is, one, it's too expensive. I hope none of you are saying it's too expensive at this point. I hope you're all going to use Instacart. And by the way, this is not paid by any means. I realize I'm absolutely promoting the crap out of this. It's just such a good product, and it works so well. And one of the things I will say is that on this other one, they won't select what I want, or they give me bad food, or sometimes they miss stuff. Like, if you use this before and they miss items, which they do. They're a phenomenal help center. Like, their support is so good. I've never once had a bad issue or a bad experience with Instacart. Anytime that they have either the shopper themselves has given me the wrong item or has not given me the item, but I was still charged, instantly they refund you and put a credit on your account or put it right back on your card, whatever you want. And a lot of the times, the cool things, not to, again, don't abuse this, but if you get the wrong item or if you get a damaged item, they will allow you to keep the item for free and still refund you. Like, they're amazing. That's Instacart. Go set it up. Again, I've saved myself for the last 12 months, 102 hours. Go set yourself up with that. And for some next steps, if you want to connect with like-minded men, to get supported by, build brotherhood, get access to all my self-development protocols around nutrition, training, mindset, sleep, productivity, and more, then I would recommend clicking the link in the bio and reading more about Actualize Academy. This is the place that 22 to 34-year-old men come to self-actualize and build brotherhood. So, guys, we got community, we got accountability, we got a bunch of protocols. And so if you're interested, check this out, give this a read through. And if this is something that you'd seriously consider joining a community of like-minded men, then we have a application process that you can book a call on there. And until next time, guys, I will see you on the next video.